my gosh, I am so glad y'all are here. Can y'all believe we got a podcast?
No.
That'd
be so real.
I'm so glad we have a podcast, especially because, you know, back in the day, Olivia and I, we had a show together, and then she basically dumped me. And then I wanted to do a podcast like 2 years ago, have my own podcast, whatever. I wanted to do a podcast, but I would not start it because I felt like I needed a host, like a co-host or whatever. Do you know Olivia refused? She was like, yeah, she didn't want to do the show. But then came Amber.
Welcome to our podcast! Hey guys, my name is Olivia Hayward.
What's up? It's your girl, Courage Molina.
Oh, it's Amber Likens, and this is my CEO Squad. Before you leave our channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you never miss an upload. In the comments, let us know where you're tuning in from, and we cannot wait to get to know you more. Let's go ahead and start this conversation.
Now all of a sudden you can do a show, right?
Well,
so I just been sitting in the corner crying, praying to the Lord. Please, Lord, can they let me be in the club?
It needed to be the right time. It needed to be the right time.
And I think,
please, Lord, can they let me in the club? Please.
Yeah, it's so funny that you should say such a thing. I think that then or whatever, we used to do a lot of shows together. We obviously had our own radio show.
Yeah, we were partners.
We were doing live videos, you know, so much together. And YouTube, my husband reminds me all the time when he plays our YouTube videos on the big TV. I'm like, you're annoying. I don't want to hear my voice. But I love him, but still. But I just, you know, it takes time. Especially, I'm a natural introvert. So it's very hard for me to be like, oh, I want to talk all the time. So I just thought.
Okay, you're a natural introvert, but you're not a natural introvert on your A&O show?
Well,
because that's really what I was getting at. I was getting at how I got
I know you were going there, but the issue is the more we did stuff, the more I got online, and the more I started seeing the value.
You were looking for diversity. No. You're like, we can't have two blacks together. I want to diversify.
No.
So that's what happened. I walk into the bridal store, and you're like, ding, 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 ding. White woman. Maybe she's white, maybe she's not. What is she?
No.
And then you find out she was Native American. You was like, ding! She got like a gold star. Then the regular black girl was out.
I'm gonna sip my tea, aka coffee. On
we're gonna start telling that story. Right. She walked in. Boom.
No, I think I just got more comfortable on camera, so now I'm more. It's easier for me to be on, you know, video or audio, whatever. I just, you know, came out of my shell a little bit more, so
you definitely
makes it easier.
So what y'all got going on? What y'all got going on in your life? What are y'all doing with your lives?
Netflix is happening. Oh, Netflix. And I'm kind of getting fussed out about Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Go ahead and
let me sip my coffee.
Okay, first of all, I've been watching TV forever, reality shows, and I would always tell Olivia and Courage, and I'm like, oh, I'm watching a show. They're like, I don't watch TV. It's a waste of time. I don't do that. And I'm like, ugh, so good. So I'm watching myself, binge watching whatever, and come back, and I'm like, oh, the housewives are so good. And they're like, no, don't have time for that. I'm working my tail off. You know? So now they're into this amazing show that I haven't caught up on. And now I'm getting all these eye rolls. So.
Yeah.
And listen, it's not just that she watches shows. Like, I feel like you're trying to play it a little bit. We were like, oh, we're focused. We're doing work. And you're like, you need to watch this. You need to watch this. And then we would be distracted by the show. We would be consumed by it. I watched that show. What was it? Emily in Paris. First of all,
so good.
I was melancholy the whole day. I was like questioning my life. Like, why don't I live in Paris? Why didn't I learn French? Why didn't I go to school for marketing? Why did I make all these bad decisions in my life? My husband's like, what's going on? I was like, I just feel very melancholy today. I've been watching Emily's life, and it's so great. He's like, why are you watching that show? I'm like, Amber. Right? So she tells us to watch a show. We watch it. We tell her to watch the show. She's like, I'm busy.
I got other shows. I'm watching other shows.
How many shows can I watch? Well, you watch TV all the time. Just go ahead and put it in rotation.
Exactly.
Yeah, so Netflix shows. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I do like to watch. I mean, I do enjoy Netflix. I used to watch way more like Ratchet TV or whatever, but I have really been watching a lot of interviews. I don't even know why. I've been watching a ton of interviews. The Jerry, Seinfeld show, the comedians, cars, coffee.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
Something.
What is it called?
Comedians in cars getting coffee.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yes.
It's so good.
It is. And I haven't really, the thing with Netflix is you can have like 3 seasons, 6 seasons, whatever. So I've been watching that, and I've been watching My Next Guest. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, with David Letterman.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get enough of that either.
Me either. Do you know why? You want me to tell you? You want me to tell y'all why?
Why?
I might be ashamed to say.
You're into
No, I ain't ashamed. No, it's because I'm not into him.
Are you into that beard?
Listen, not to say like David Letterman, if you're watching, I think you're very handsome. I just don't know why that's the first thing that would come to her mind. That's all. Plus, I'm married. Okay. No, it's because I want to interview celebrities. That's why. So it's like every time I watch the show, I'm like, yeah, see, this is exactly what I want to do. I just want to talk to them and ask them questions. Not all celebrities, just like the ones that I like. Obviously, I don't care if they hot or not. If I'm not really like into you, then I don't want to interview you. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, oh, this is what I want. And y'all know I'm on a talk show. That's old news, though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be good when you do have it.
I know.
Child. Yes, it's gonna be so good.
People
because I'm honest.
Did you watch Courage today?
Exactly. People are gonna be running home. Well, they're probably not gonna run home. They work from home, but they're gonna be running to their living room, to watch it. What are you watching, Olivia?
Well, I've just finished up Dynasty because of you. The show is so good. I mean, I love a show. First of all, we are all building our dynasties right now. That's why we're called the CEO Squad. So watching that show, even though it's crazy things happening, it was still very inspirational to me because it was like they were consistently like, let's start this business, and just watching their business
That's
go
what inspired
or fail.
you?
Yeah.
You know what inspired me?
What?
All that hired help, people cooking and
Oh, now that was inspirational.
I was like, let me send this email for you.
Exactly. That was very inspiring. But I just love, for me, you guys know, I love watching people like start businesses. That like really just excites me so. So like when they're like, oh, this dynasty is on its way out, I'm about to start a new one. Like it was just really good. And one of the main characters, she's a woman and she's all about her business. So that was just, I love that show. It's very ratchet. It's very crazy, but I wouldn't say it's very ratchet, but it's a little bit
it's
edgy.
full of drama. It is full of like, what? Like when you watch it, you're like,
yeah.
Like, what?
It's really good.
So many times where you're like screaming out loud.
Yeah.
Out loud. Like, my husband's looking at me like, you do know.
Yeah.
These are actors. I'm like, if you're going to be in reality, you cannot watch the show with me. That's how you're going to be looking at everything. Like, oh, it's not real. We cannot watch TV together. I like that you talk about, like, how it's inspirational. This is the thing, right? Watching Dynasty, seeing those women, the whole premise behind my CEO Squad is because women are starting businesses at a higher rate than anyone else, right? Mm-hmm. 114% it has grown women starting businesses, which is insane. Yeah. And that's even black women of color are the fastest growing demographic for starting businesses, which is insane. Mm-hmm. But even though that is true, do you know that 55% of women second guess their decision to start a business?
Isn't that insane? That's really high.
Which, for the record, is more than men. Okay, men are not second guessing themselves about starting a business,
even if their business isn't that great. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, this is a great business. We about to do it.
Why do you think that is?
I think, honestly, women second guess their stuff is because they feel the fear of judgment. Mm-hmm. They constantly are like, well, what is this person going to think? They take themselves out of the equation, and they are thinking about everybody else.
And I think that too. I also think about a lot of times, and I just heard this the other day too, is that people, they also worry about what people are going to think, and they also worry about what else is out there. So if they want to start, this line of, makeup or clothing or home decor or whatever they might start, they're always thinking about the other person that's doing it. And one of these things that I read the other day heard the other day is that you know, if you think about someone who's like newly, she's been an artist. I'm referring to Rihanna. She's been an artist for a while, but when she started Fenty Beauty, she didn't say, oh, MAC is doing it, Clinique is doing it, Lancome already have very successful makeup businesses. No, she said, this is what I'm doing, and I'm gonna become a billionaire, and she did.
But that's not good.
Also, I'll give you another example.
Because I don't like that example.
Yeah. Also,
I don't. I mean, because listen, I'm here for, this is the whole thing, right? Like, I don't like that example because, okay, if I was Rihanna, I'd be like, yeah, let me start a Fenty business too. No. And you know that's what they thinking. Like,
no, but
she's got a name, she's got a brand, she's got a billion people, and she's got the money to pay for marketing.
But she could have easily said, there is something already out there. That's what I'm saying. Not that she couldn't have did it. She could have easily shrink down and been like, oh, well, there's already a makeup company out there, or it's already a lingerie, Victoria's Secret's already there. No. That's what I'm saying. It's not the fact that your resources, yes, resources play a huge part in
look at the industry she's in.
When you're thinking about
they all doing that, and whether they good at it or not, right? Like, everybody who's a celeb, everybody got they got what they got. They got perfume, they got a bag, they got sheets.
They got sheets.
He got shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we need a slipper line.
We do. Or socks. I know y'all can see my socks.
Slipper and socks.
That's what we do here. But this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, that's what happens when you get to that level and you're in that industry. It's not just like, oh, somebody else is doing it. It's like everybody who is at this level with me is doing it. But I feel like at the start level, right? Let's talk about y'all or us, right? Let's talk about us. Because I feel like it's fine once you get to a certain level. I'm not saying it's not hard. I am sure it's hard. But it is different when you are exposed to it. When you have success in an area where people didn't think, or a lot of people aren't having success. When you have that under your belt, that does kind of provide you with confidence you didn't have before. And your squad group at that point, the people that you're hanging out with, those are people who are like, everybody's got a business. But what happens for women who are just starting, and maybe this is not y'all experience, y'all can let us know, but when it turns out for people who are just starting in business, women who are just starting, for the most part, the women that I meet, they're the first one in their group, in their friend circle, in their family to really be talking about, okay, I'm going to start a business. And so people are looking at them sideways. Or like we all know somebody.
Well, yeah, when it comes to looking at them,
right,
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And
but I'm talking about mindset, basically. What I was talking about.
But I think that our mindset is changed by our community.
Yeah, because the surroundings.
Listen, because we do. I can't speak for y'all. Let me speak for myself. I know there are lots of things that I have tried to do, or that I have. I hate that word, tried. That I've attempted, or that I've done, or I've pitched myself for. Because I have, like, y'all are like, you can do it, right? Like, y'all are part of y'all are, like, I know it seems like a very cute tagline, but y'all really are my CEO squad. And so that has helped me to have this mindset. It's one thing to want to change, but not to be able to see it in your actual environment.
Right.
It makes sense that 55% would second guess themselves because why? Yeah. Like, what do you know about businesses? People, they fail.
Yep.
How many networking events have you been to where you met your friend Sally and Sally was selling Mary Kay? Then the next month Sally was selling Avon. Then the next month Sally was selling nails. Then the next month Sally was doing like home health aid. Then the next month she's selling tasers. You know what I'm saying? Like
from the whole.
Yeah, no, people do that.
I know they do. I know. And you know what? I will say this. I have been the person on the other side, like giving that eye roll, like really you're gonna sell something else. But I find that sometimes they're actually even trying to find their niche of like what they're great at, and you don't know until you have the experience. So early on in my career that I've been like full on entrepreneur. This is my income. This is what I do. I always gave those side looks, and I'm like, why did I always do that? But now I see a whole nother look of things. I'm like running a very great, well-off company. And I'm like, oh, but I found my niche, right? And if somebody's jumping ship to do something else, I'm like, yeah, because you haven't found your niche yet. So that's cool. And I think it's really, I think women, honestly, they really do need that extra push. And I really hate that it's human, right? It's very natural for people to give that impression, like, oh, I don't believe in you. Oh, you're going to do that again. So I think we need to really, people have to have a squad. Because if you don't, you really do fall into that judgment category where you're either judging someone or you feel judged, right? There's something. Yeah. And I'm like, people do need that squad because that's your security. Mm-hmm. And those are the people that fill you up. Yeah. So I'm guilty of that. So I'm owning it.
Right. So they're concerned about judgment, right?
Yeah,
they're concerned about judgment in the side eye.
Yeah.
They're concerned about like comparison. Somebody else is already doing it. There are a million other people doing it.
Right.
I think sometimes they second guess because there's this like expectation of competition. Like we can say like, oh, it's collaboration, but we are competing for dollars, so to speak. Like when you talk about going to the marketplace, those are the business terminology and things that you hear. So it's like, I don't think that competition is nurtured in us as much outside of sports. I feel like men are encouraged to be competitive in sports, outside of sports. I feel like when we are competitive or when we are like, okay, I'm going to go after it, I'm going to be the best, then y'all know they want to call us out our name. Okay? Careful with that, right? They want to call us out our name like, oh, she's just a this, she's just a that, she's so snarky, she's whatever. And we want to avoid that because it's not a quality that is becoming. Becoming, right? Air quotes. For y'all listeners. First of all, y'all should be on our YouTube channel. That's one. That's you need to be watching it, okay? So you can see our air quotes. But I think like that's the thing. We don't want to be seen that way. It's not a compliment for us. But I feel like for men, that is encouraged from childhood. To be competing and to be the best. When we say we're the best, like we are conceited. We don't want people to think we're not nice, and so now we're dimming our light. And it's like you said, men will go out and not the company ain't
you ain't even selling nothing good,
But they're like, oh, we're the best.
Or it's a scam of some sort, They're like, if we think about, the story was really big in the headlines a while ago. The fire, what is it called? Fire Fest.
Gosh.
He didn't even have viable business.
And people didn't check.
Yeah.
By the way.
People were throwing money at him left and right. Yeah. And even after it was going down, he literally, even after it was going down, he was still out here trying to scam. After he even got indicted, he was still out here trying to scam. Wow. It was insane.
Yeah.
But, that's one of those things where it's like, men can do certain things and they don't check for no receipts.
Yeah.
They like, oh, you're going to throw this big festival? Okay, let's cut you a, $50,000, $100,000 check. It's not like you don't even have no infrastructure of where you're trying to have
and
this
festival.
like
in their defense, not in the scammers' defense, but in the defense of men, I feel like they present more confidence. Even if they're not more confident. I'm not saying that men don't deal with confidence issues, but even if they're not, it's like they have, and I don't even know how they do it. They are showing up with more confidence. They are selling it, right? Like this is what they're doing. They're selling it. Even if it's not as great or whatever, just like his was an absolute scam, I feel like they show up more confident. And that's what people really respond to. So we're like, oh, you should buy this. And then we don't want to tell you the price. Then we want to give you a discount. Then we want to say, well, so-and-so said it was good. We aren't even confident in our delivery. And we're wondering why we're not closing sales or closing deals. And so did you guys have any experience with this? Let's talk about that. So it's not like, oh, we're not immune. We're not immune to it. So can y'all remember a time where y'all were second guessing yourself? I feel like in the beginning, a little bit at the beginning, in the middle, 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, 2 days ago, where you were second guessing your decision to start a business.
I'll say absolutely. I definitely second guessed myself. While the business started, like you said, in the middle to yesterday, whenever, I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Yes, I think so. It partly becomes because, I have this, I always say it's like a gift and a curse, right? I'm pretty talented.
Oh,
in a lot of
Queen Olivia.
Never knew it.
In a lot of different areas. So that's actually sometimes a curse because I'm thinking, you know, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. I don't need to do that because I'm good at this. But I really love this thing, you know? So, yeah, I definitely second guess myself in my business because, yeah, I'm a multiple CEO type of chick. So, yeah.
I think I probably remember second guessing myself more often after I quit my job and I was full time.
Mm.
That is when I was like, not only was I second guessing myself, I was like, do I need to be committed? Have I lost my mind? What was I thinking? Why did I do this? Where are my friends? I ain't have no friends, y'all. I'm like, I ain't got no friends because if I had friends, they would have been like, girl, don't you give up that government job.
that good job.
That good job with those
benefits.
benefits. I definitely second guess myself because, you know, you really get, for me, I worked my whole life. And so you get accustomed to, you know, making money, having a salary. I'm from the hood. I grew up in government housing. I grew up in the projects. And so I worked hard to go to college, to graduate so I could get a good job and then to make it.
Air quotes
and I'm using
again.
air quotes with the to make it part because I mean, I definitely, you know, accomplished more than people maybe thought I would because I was also a teen parent, but to make it and then to be like, oh, I'm going to walk away from this. I've been teaching for 10 years, 11 years. I was head of my department. I was spoiled rotten where I was. Best kids, best administration. Like I could do whatever I wanted to do. And to walk away from that for something that was uncertain and then to be in it, struggling to pay my bills. And let me just say this. Before somebody send me an email or DM me about, oh, well, that's why you should always have XYZ dollars before you quit. I don't believe in that philosophy. So you do you, but for me, I feel like I'm a purpose-driven woman and I'm faith-driven. And so it's great to do what is responsible and it's great to do what's logical. But for me, I felt like God was leading me to quit and I can either be obedient or be, you know, responsible. I choose obedience. Like that's, you do you. But that's how I felt for me. And so for me to step out, that is not my character. It's not my character to be like, oh, I'm just going to see how it works. I'm like, no, I want to check. Like, how much am I going to get paid? That is my personality. I am not I seem like a risk taker, but I'm really not. I don't like that. And so to step out on faith, following God, I used to be like, I'm following you out here in these streets, Lord, and now I'm broke. And to not be able to help support my family, and things got bad quick. I was like, I cried that first year. Listen, I cried like every single day. The mail would come, it would be a new bill, and I was like, oh my goodness, what was I thinking, you know? And then I would hear podcasts or hear all these people talking about make sure you have 6 months. I'd be like, shut up. I didn't ask. Man, it's very important for you not to use I'm like, I don't want to hear none of that crap because, you know, this was a decision that I made. I follow God, but it was hard and I second guessed myself at least for the first 3 years. I think I've only been doing it for 3 years full time. I've been a full-time entrepreneur, I think, for 3 years full time. I've only second guessed myself for the first 3 years.
I want to add to it though, you didn't sit and go, well, I hope something comes, and you sat around just hoping that change would happen. You were very driven every day on purpose, like what am I doing? And you were focused on building and building and building and building. But it takes a while to build.
Yeah.
Right? And so you really were stepping out on faith. Like that's all it was. And if you didn't have faith, girl, you'd have been
Yeah, I mean,
a mess. More so than a mess.
Do y'all remember those days?
Yes.
yes.
I mean, I can replay them in my head. It's so heartbreaking, you know, because
it's hard.
you feel that is what I'm called to do, and you do it.
And it's like, it's really nothing you can say. Like, it's when people are going through those tough times, it's really, what can you say?
Yeah.
Besides, like, keep going, keep pushing. It's going to come. It's going to be. It's going to work out. But even that, I don't want to say because I'm like, nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah.
You know, because I know I wouldn't want to hear it. I'm like, ugh.
So you definitely second guess yourself when you have a plan or you think or you hope. Once you are an entrepreneur, right? Like once you're in that community and you know more entrepreneurs and you know their story, you know that literally all it takes is for like one thing, right? Not that it's going to be quick, but I've been working on it before I quit my job.
Right.
But you know for a fact, you know somebody, you've talked to a person who is like, well, I worked in my business for this amount of time, and then I made my income in 30 days, or 60 days, or 90 days, or in 3 months, or in 6 months, or whatever. So you know it's possible. You believe in the work that you do. And the truth is, it's just not your time yet. I hate to say that to y'all.
Yeah.
It's just not your time. Thank God my time has arrived. Praise the Lord. Your girl can eat and she can shop. And I can be like, yes, where are we going for lunch? They used to be like, you want to go to lunch? I'm like, y'all are obviously paying because you know I have no money.
We're like, it's fine, we're picking you up. Come, get in the car.
He's so mad. And Olivia was still working at the time. Like, so
Yeah.
are y'all paying for me? Because if not, it's fine. You don't have to, but I'm not going. So don't invite me to things because I literally have no money. You know, it was hard. And so you start to second guess yourself, especially when you feel like, I don't have to do this. You don't have to be an entrepreneur. I didn't get fired from teaching. I didn't quit during the pandemic. I didn't lose my job during the pandemic. And so I know for some, it's like they've been thrust into this. And so they're thinking, let me go ahead and start a business. I've been kind of thinking about it. Let me grow my side hustle. But I could have, in theory, gone back to teaching. And so when those doors aren't closed and those bridges aren't burned, you're like,
It's looking kind of good.
Like, I might not have
It's
been
looking kind of good across there.
Like I might not have been changing up the game, but I bought my own food. I can pay for my own lunch date, and I can buy jeans and sneakers. That's all I want in my life. Get my eyebrows, I can get a manicure. I can do that. I didn't have to like walk around like, okay, I have to wait till my eyebrows fully grow back. That's when you really start second guessing. When you look in the mirror and you can see you have a full mustache, you're like, you know what? I do not have to walk around with this mustache. I can go back to work. Let me get somebody's W-2.
I can get a job.
Well, I'll tell you the time that I would always second guess myself, and it was becoming a mom. Because I did not know how to, I mean, I feel like everybody's like, have kids, like right after you get married. It took us a minute because we just weren't ready. And then when I felt like I was like ready. I had a good business. Everything was flowing. But if I wasn't in the field working, I didn't get paid. I had to be in front of a client. I had to be on the phone with someone. That's how I got paid. And so it was juggling not being able to have any money come in on my business and just rely on my husband and be at home making sure these kids are eating and surviving. Here I am a dairy cow, right? And then I'm like, I mean, should I work? Should I go back? But how do I do it? Do you know what I mean? I could not figure out. So I really got to a place of like trying to think like, should I do it or should I just not work? Should I just do this or do something different from home, you know? And then I was always in positions too where I would go to these big meetings and I would be around really successful, I about said sexy, so successful. Y'all know these words start flowing. Really successful people, right? They walk in with these amazing suits. They're driving these cars and they have these diamonds on. But little did I know, they're probably fake, right? I was like, you know what? You probably think, but you probably paid for that car in the parking lot, right? I know. There's a lot into the business that I work in, right? That I have now realized that people do. But, and you just look at them and you're like, I can't do it like her. How does that person do it? Yeah. This is crazy. And they would get up and tell all the amazing accomplishments they had that week or that month or whatever. And it was very braggy, which I don't mind. I'm like, that's good. Brag on yourself. It's really healthy. But then to somebody sitting on the other side, you just don't know how that's making them feel. Right. And it was never, let me give you the tips on success that I've done. It's like, look what I did. And I'm like, and I would always second guess, not my intent on how I could be successcul, but like who I was around. Yeah. I was like, should I even be at this meeting? Because y'all are so done. I ain't getting filled not one bit. My cup is real dry. Like, I just constantly was like, this was 3 hours of a waste of my time. Right. And I second guessed the people that I worked with, my squad. That's who I relied on. And then, you know, I had things happen where I felt like I was stabbed in the back. And I'm like, I literally thought you were on my side. I was like, that's cool. So I think
Now I know.
Now I know. And so I go back to being a new mom, trying to juggle, right? And trying to figure out what's my placement now. And then being around people that are out in the field working every day. But I knew what I loved, which is the beauty industry and helping other women be great. But I was like, I don't know if y'all are helping me get to my best place.
Right.
And that was my place of like constantly going through that mental back and forth, you know? But now I've overcome it. I fired a lot of people in my life, walked away, started from scratch. And
Got
here
a
I
new
am.
squad.
Got a new squad.
We upgraded her. We basically Beyonce.
For real. I mean, it really does make a difference. And sometimes you think you have really good people.
Yeah.
You really do. And these people really say, right, they're all these things. I care about you. I want you to succeed. But when relationships are one-sided, that's what I realized. That was really big. I felt like a lot of the relationships in my quote-unquote squad were very one-sided. And I never noticed it until I was out of it. And I was like, dang. I was like, that is insane, right? So, you know, but you don't know until you know. And then sometimes you're very foggy, right? And so, but yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful for what we have now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've made some amazing big girl decisions in the last several years that I did it just thinking I hope it works, and it did. But it was because I had good value coming into it, right? I could come to y'all and say, this is what I'm thinking, this is an idea, or this, and it wasn't like, well, it was, okay, well, let's figure out how to actually make that a reality.
Right.
Let's figure it out. Okay, let's weigh it out. And then we do, and then it becomes this amazing thing, you know?
All right. So, that's good, girl. So listen up, y'all CEOs and future CEOs. You know, we're really talking about how many women are second guessing themselves about starting business. And so we have obviously started businesses. We are CEOs in our own right, and we have an amazing squad. And instead of just talking about what we've done and how great our lives are, they're pretty great though, and how great our friendships are, we want this to be a place where you can come, where we can be your CEO squad, where we can be the ones saying like, okay, you can do it, what are you going to do, what do you need to do, holding you accountable for your greatness. And we always want you to walk away from this podcast with some great advice, right? So if we're talking about something, we want you to be able to walk away with some great advice. So what can we say, what can you say to a CEO or a future CEO who is right now second guessing their decision to start a business, or they're not even sure if they're like on the fence, I think I kind of maybe want to start a business. What kind of advice can you give them to kind of, you know, encourage and support them so that they're not second guessing themselves anymore? They can just like make a solid decision.
I would say first and foremost, you have to start before you're ready. Right? So a lot of people think I have to be ready. I have to have all of these things in place. I need to have this much money. I need to do all of these things. But really, you have to start to walk out the process. Yeah. If it's a service that you're offering, you need to start to walk it out. You need to start getting clients. You need to start testing out your knowledge, your service. If it's products, start selling those products, even if it's on a lower scale. Start figuring out.
Wait, let me stop you real quick. And listen, she's saying clients, but everybody ain't got to pay you. You don't have a track record yet. Yep. So don't be like, oh, I ain't doing it for free. No, boo, you doing it for free. You don't have a track record yet. Yep. So your clients can be people that you know, that you love, people that you know need what you're doing. Maybe somebody that you've met online or whatever, and you can offer them. Maybe you're in an online group and you're like, oh, I see this person is struggling with this. I'm actually really good. Let me give this to them.
Yes.
For free, right? You said clients, you said something else too, products. If you're creating products, if you are selling products, maybe you can buy samples so that you can give them away. Maybe you can collaborate with somebody else so that you can say like, I have these free samples. I would love to I know you're having an event. I would love to give you, don't be trying to, like, we can't be selling everything from jump, right? Yep. Let me try to give you these samples so that people can rave about them. Now I can put a price on the second batch. So continue. I didn't want to cut you off, but because I know people are like, oh, how am I going to get a client? No, you can be like, hey, You need to be able to do this. I design websites. I don't design websites. That's just an example, okay? I design websites. You need a website. I would love to design your website for free. I just want to be able to use you in my gallery. Done.
Yeah.
Now you have a client, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, I make so much more money now that I have this new website," or whatever. You know?
Right.
Yep. No, that's exactly right. I mean, start before you're ready. Just start doing it. Figure out how you can help somebody, how you can serve the people that you intend to serving, and just start it. Just do it today, not tomorrow.
Yeah. Start yesterday.
Yeah.
Something I would have to say is it has to be something that you truly, truly have passionate about.
Yeah.
Because it's like a new relationship, like you dating somebody, and then they come to pick you up for the second date, and you're like, actually, I thought you looked different when you were here before. You know, make sure you know what you're going to get involved with, your investment or, you know, a company that you're signing with or whatever it is. Make sure you actually love it. Because this is going to be something where if it's a 9 o'clock at night or a 3 a.m. in the morning, a thought comes to your head, it's not a drain like, oh, I have to do that right now. It's exciting. It's motivating because you're looking forward to weeks to come. And something, too, when you love something, you're not thinking about how you're going to eat tomorrow. You're thinking about how you're going to live next year by this business that's growing. And so really love what you're getting involved with. So even if you don't even know how much you love it, like you just have to really, I think, consume yourself with it for a minute. Like one day, just really do everything you can, do a lot of research, do a lot of reading, interview some people, talk to people about this. If they're already involved with it, figure out a little bit more. And then just realize, like, I actually do love this. Like, this is great. I've answered all my questions. Any concerns I've had, I'm ready. And so there are times where we are working so much. And I'm like, I'm working, but I love doing it.
Yeah.
I feel like I could do it, but I have to sleep and I have to eat and I have to see my family. So it's fine. You know what I mean? But yeah, love it.
I love that you say love it because if I love it, I can start before I'm ready. And if I love it, I'm okay with making a batch of body cream or body scrubs that I'm going to have to give away because I love it. That is so important that you love it. What I am going to say is that, let me look at y'all. See, I'm going to say this. You know exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You already know what your area is. You know what your area of genius is. Unless you are like in your early 20s, I'll cut them some slack. Because I feel like early 20s, some of you guys still don't really know who you are. You're still trying to find your own way. That I get. But for you actual like super grown, over 25, y'all 30, 40, 50, 60, you know what your thing is. I think that you are waiting for permission. I cannot think of a time in my life where I started something and I thought I was going to love it. I cannot. Can you think of a time where you were like, oh, I tried this because I thought I was going to love it and it turns out I don't love it? Not an industry, not a section. Listen, there are lots of things that I tried. Lots of businesses, but the reason I chose them wasn't because I loved it. It was because, well, I'm skilled in it. Well, this is what other people say I should do. This is what other people are doing. Somebody's making money with this. It's easy for me to get started. Somebody else invested for me to do it. So it's like, I cannot think of a time when I look back over my life where I started to do something unsure of what I actually love to do. The truth was, I tried those other things because I did not believe that I could actually do what I really wanted to do and build a life for myself, right? So I'm going to just call crap right now. Stop it. You know what you are called to do. You know what you're supposed to be doing. You know what area you've been called to serve in. And that's the area where you are going to win. You're not sure if you're the one for it. You need a sign. This your sign, sis. Okay? It's you. You're it. Ding! You're it. Now you have permission. You've already been given the anointing, the calling, the skill, the gifting to do it. Now you just have to stand in it with confidence and say, this is a decision that I made. Now I'm going to make it work. Not I'm going to see if it works out. I made this decision. Now I'm going to move heaven and earth. I'm going to do what I need to do to make the decision work instead of changing the decision all the time. So I feel like y'all know. So that's some great advice. Start before you're ready. Do what you love. Stop fronting like you don't know what you love.
Yes, that's it.
So
that's it.
what's going to happen in the future, guys, after we're done sharing all of our great stuff, is we want to be able to answer some of your questions. So you can send your questions to my CEO squad. I don't know what the email is. Is that right? I feel like that's not right. I think it's going to be... But it's got to have something before it. Listen, you'll see us struggling right now. Ask. Okay. I'm like, wait, what's the email? I'm just kidding. It's going to be ask, not your booty. Ask a question. ASK. And they're like, ooh. It's going to be ask at myceosquad.com. Okay? You're going to send an email to ask at myceosquad.com. It's in the description. It's in the show notes. Send us any questions that you have about business, about life, about relationships, anything really that you want to know. We'll filter them out. You can send to us, and this is the time where we'll answer those questions. We also want to see you and your squad. We want to see what you're doing, what you and your squad have done. And so when you're out doing great things, whether you're out in the real world or like virtually or whatever, we want to see it. So hashtag #MyCEOSquad. And we will go live and we will share some of the stuff that y'all are doing. And we'll be telling people to follow y'all. We'll be like, oh, look at this squad. They doing big things, honey. Honey, they doing big things. So 2 things. Ask us questions. Ask at myceosquad.com. And share with us the things that you and your squad are doing. And use the hashtag #MyCEOSquad so that we can see what you're doing. All right. Anything else, ladies?
That's right. This was the dopest podcast ever.
I feel like we need some dance music. You see it. This is our real life, actually. All right.
Dance party.
Right? That's what we're about to do. We're going to have a dance party. Listen, we are so glad that y'all joined us. We hope that you come back. We want to be your CEO squad. You don't have friends? Okay, hey, friend. We are friends. We're right here. We're your squad. Join us. Join our community. We want to see you win. We want to push you. We want to hold you accountable to your greatness. We want to remind you of how amazing you are and the people you are called to serve. And the money you are called to make. Okay? All right. Love y'all. Bye. Yes, I always do my spirit thing, guys.